Hello everybody and welcome to In the Driver's Seat with dubizzle. Again, we have another special guest with us here at the dubizzle Cars Hub. We've had so many over the past couple of months and they get more and more interesting as the days go by. Well, today I'm joined by Dr.M. Dr.M, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you here.
It's actually my pleasure to be here.
And does the M in your name, is that for McLaren or?
No. It stands for my name. Majid
Mercedes?
or Maid, because people usually confuse my name.
Wait.
In the local culture,
Okay,
the way it works is there is a letter that shifts from a J to a Y.
okay.
That's if I'm explaining it in English. But in Arabic, it's the Jim, it turns into a Ya. So my name is actually Majid,
Okay,
but then locals will call me Maid. So I just made it
Okay.
easier for me and I kept it as Maid.
okay, that makes sense. The only way, what I remember from Majid is Captain Majid, or it's actually called Captain Sonoda, but I grew up here, so I grew up on Captain Majid. Looking at it when it came out was like, no, that's not it, it's Majid, 100%. But thank you so much for coming down and checking out the hub. First of all, what do you think of the place?
It's actually amazing. I didn't expect it to be like this. I've been working with dubizzle, as in personally, individually. I've sold cars. Maybe I bought a couple of cars from dubizzle, but I never knew that you guys have full facility like this. And I love the place we're sitting at. It's actually where the 360 it's an amazing way of capturing the cars here. So you can actually go through the entire car without having to visit the place, and you can go to details of details inside the car. And the fact that I saw some of the cars that you guys have here, and the fact that you guys buy cars, I never knew that. I thought you guys will just check some of the cars and see if they're actually reliable enough and all to be as a certified dubizzle car. That's what I'm used to. But now today I got to know that you guys actually purchase cars from people. So people just can come in, inspect their cars, and you guys will just pay them in cash and they can just leave.
So this is a relatively new service that we introduced. I mean, I'd like to say it's relatively new, but we've been doing it for the past couple of months, and of course, we're always looking at different ways that we can make it more, or better yet, we could incentivize people in different ways. You know, we've introduced buyback guarantee, we've introduced trade-in facilities and stuff like that, and so we offer many different ways. We have the cash-in service, we have the trade-in services, and we have as well the one that you talked about was the certified services, which we call our pro services. So if you're looking to sell your car, but you want to keep it and not deal with the hassle of being woken up at 3 a.m. with someone asking you for the last price for your car, you will basically handle everything for you. So you can sleep easy, you can continue on with your daily life, and we'll manage the selling process of your car. And that's only a small portion. Like you said, we're currently sat on the turnstile, as we call it here, and we've had the McLaren 650S, which is behind us on the turnstile, and we've had a look around of how we make it easier to even look at your cars, not just from the comfort of your home, but on the go as well, because our 360 services are available on the go. But let's talk about something that I always find quite interesting. Now, I've grown up here. I've been here for, I think now it's close to 27 years. Car culture, you know. I'm originally from the UK. The automotive scene in the UK is very different to what it is here. Cars are a lot smaller there than they are here as well. And one of the most prolific cars here are, or not prolific car as such, but a shape of car is an SUV. Now, as a local, you're probably the best person to answer this. Why the SUV compared to, say, the likes of a wagon?
Okay, so basically I'm going to be talking about my own experience. You need to own at least one SUV at home. Like if the whole family, they're going to have one car, it has to be an SUV. It's because of the way the place is. It's like you're living in the middle of the desert at the end of the day.
True.
Even though we're living in Dubai and we have roads and everything, but then the desert is also part of us and our identity.
Yeah.
So most probably, especially at this time of the year, because it's the winter and all, people will go to the desert. And if you don't have an SUV, that's going to be the first issue you're going to face. That's one. Two, it's some of the, let's say, infrastructure of the country. It's not well built as Dubai is, because you have other Emirates too. So you would need an SUV car to be able to drive smoothly throughout all the roads and all the terrains that we have here in the country. So that's one thing that people keep in mind. Plus the fact an SUV is a very reliable car, especially for highways and all. Like me personally, before even getting a sports car, the first thing I got was an SUV because I knew I needed a car to, let's say, carry people with me to go on long journeys throughout the country on highways and all, because they're reliable. And in my case, I feel like they're safer than other cars. In the case of an accident, I mean, the crumble zone and all, it's much bigger than a sports car or a smaller sedan and all. And the fuel prices used to be at some point very good, and like people
This
wouldn't
is
even
true.
think about like getting a V8 over a V6 because of the fuel prices. Right now, you might actually say that the prices are a bit higher than the usual or what we're used to. But if you're going to compare it to the UK, for example, or the US, we're still much cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, what we pay, the joke was what we used to pay in dirhams, you pay in pounds, and I think that just keeps going up. I mean, fuel in England is just ridiculously expensive. That's why everyone drives 1.2 litre Astra diesels or smaller
I've been
cars.
to London at some point, I think back in 2012, and I've seen your roads. I mean, I've seen supercars in London, and I don't even know how they drive them there.
Yeah, I don't get it either. They're so
Yeah.
small, and a lot of them are single carriageways, and what we call a motorway is 3 lanes. What we call a motorway here
Yeah.
is 6, 7, 8
Exactly.
lanes.
So it doesn't even make sense to have a huge car there. Even me personally, right now, I'm actually planning to purchase a tiny car just for the city because it's more convenient. Like you can find easier parkings and all. Because having a huge ass truck, it just
Yeah.
it's very hard to park everywhere. And now because of the fuel prices, that could be like an excuse to get a smaller car. But basically, like bigger cars are better for driving throughout cities because you know how people are. Some people are like, for example, let's say they're living in Sharjah or Ajman and they work in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So they're always on the highway. So it makes sense to have a bigger car. It's easier to drive, plus the, what do you call it? Even the fuel economy of the car is much better when you have a V8 on a highway.
Yeah, so this is always a very interesting topic. A lot of people, when they see a car is available as a V6 or a V8, they automatically assume that the V6 is more economical, which 9 times out of 10 is not correct. The V8 is more reliable, the V8 is more economical compared to the V6. And this is, again, you're probably the right person to ask this because you have a degree in mechanics, you know a lot more this than I would. How an engine is built, especially in the technology that we have nowadays, V8s can actually shut off a certain amount of cylinders, right? So you could run on 4 cylinders, making your car a V4, as much as I hate using that term. Technically, it does exist. And when you have V8s, it boggles my mind, but it is more economical. You could probably explain it better, though.
Okay, regarding what you just mentioned, this is one of the things that I really hate about the new V8s, where they shift to V4s. Apparently, I have my own truck, and I already removed that option from the car by tuning it. Because the thing is that V4 V8 thing, it actually messes with the engine itself. So you're reducing the life of the engine, that's one. 2, as you said, a V6 could be an economical car, or a V4 could be an economical car if you're driving it in the city only. It's because of you'll notice like the RPMs and the amount of gears that you have in the car. So for example, my car, if I'm gonna drive it, I have a V8, a 6.2 liter, which is the big engine. So if I'm gonna drive it on a highway, and I have like 8 gears, and it's gonna be on the 8th gear, and the RPM is gonna be like below 2,000, okay, the car is it's not gonna use much fuel. But imagine a V6 on a highway, and if it's a naturally aspirated, I'm not talking about the turbos and all, because those might be a little bit more economical on the highway, and with lesser gears, you're gonna most probably see the RPM around 3,000, 3,500. So that's why it's gonna be using more fuel, consuming more fuel on the highway compared to a truck or like a V8 car. So V8 cars are very, let's say, fuel economical if you're using them on highways for longer distances. But if you're using it in the city, actually they're going to be
Yes, of course, because even with 4-cylinder engines, any sort of engine, stop, start, that does not help you whatsoever. Even idling a car, a lot of people don't realize idling wastes petrol and probably wastes more petrol than anything else. Your engine you're not moving, but your car is idling. It doesn't need to idle. It's heating up, which it doesn't need to do whatsoever, and it's burning more fuel. Traffic lights, they burn fuel so much. Speed bumps ruin the fuel economy, but this is me getting mad at things I shouldn't be getting mad at. But yes, V8s, if you're driving long distances, especially straight lines, and you're continuously driving, more economical than a V6, which again sounds mind-boggling when you think about it, but it is true. Now, let's move on to dubizzle. Now, you said that you've used dubizzle before, and you've used it to buy cars and sell cars, and to sort of get pricing points as well. And this is actually not uncommon, actually. I've spoken to a lot of people recently, and especially when people find out that I work for dubizzle, they're like, oh, hey, you know, I use it for this, I use it for that, can I get discounts? No, I'm not giving you a discount. I can't give you discounts. That's not what I do here. But what everyone kind of talks about is they look at prices of cars. And I remember we were talking about this before as well, that you use it kind of like a pricing tool of what everyone else is charging to what you could charge for your car.
Because like, I noticed that the entire market, including all the dealers and any car that is in Dubai or in the UAE in general, you'll find it on dubizzle. So you don't really need to go out and go through every dealer you find on the way and check the cars they have, because whatever inventory they have, they will put it on dubizzle itself. So that's why, like, let's say if I want to know what's the price range of, let's say, the McLaren 650S, I'll just go to dubizzle and I'm going to tap on used cars, go to the McLaren option and choose the 650S. And I'm going to see, like, within this mileage and within, like, from 2012, let's say, up to like 2016, I'm going to check what is the price range of the cars that are there on dubizzle. And from there, I'm going to know that this is the market price right now for the 650S. That's in that range with that many kilometers on it. So that's the amazing thing about dubizzle. And even, like, as I told you before, I got one of my cars through dubizzle because I was looking through dubizzle for the car that I was looking for. And I found it there. Then I went to the dealer and I got it. But basically, I got to know that this car is available in the market and with the dealer that I went to through dubizzle itself. And I even sold a couple of cars in the past through dubizzle. I mean, see, I'm a photographer, so when it comes to taking photos of cars and all, I know what I'm doing. But then I noticed that you guys have the service where you guys actually do it, because as we were talking earlier, not everyone knows how to take photos of their cars, and some of the photos are really bad. Like, you don't even know what car it is, except that the fact that they actually put the name and all that you read it on the tag of the car, but you don't even recognize the car.
Yeah, and for me, I've been in the industry for so long, and I've seen some progression, especially from dealers and some private sellers. But there are so many people that just don't give. I don't know how to say this nicely. I'm going to have to think of a polite way of saying this. Yeah, come on. They don't care. They don't care that they don't care about the pictures that they take of the cars. And you'll know this as well, being a photographer. A picture can tell a story, you know. It can tell you things that you may not be able to write in the description. And when you look at a car, especially older versions as well, or older models, pictures can tell you the story of the car. You know, it can tell you the history of the car without anybody saying anything, because you can see the actual wear and tear. You can see it from the seats. You can see it from the features inside the car. But then you'll have people that take pictures like this, or they'll take a close-up of a piece of the car that's not important. Or they'll take the picture upside down and they'll be like, oh, if you don't know what this is, don't bother contacting me. I'm asking for a Volvo, not for a McLaren 650S.
But see, the first judgment that you're going to do on a website, let's say, is the photo that you're going to see.
Yeah.
So basically, let's say if I had this car and it was dirty, I didn't wash it, and I parked it in a very random area in the middle of the sand and all, and I took some random, really bad quality photos, no one will think that this car is taken care of and it's a nice car and
100%.
has no problems and no issues and all. Like, you see how, like, the car looks amazing because it's been taken care of, it's been clean, and now the lighting here is amazing also. So that's how the car looks appealing to people, and people are like, oh, wow, nice. But some cars, like, they could be really amazing. They could be in a very good condition, but maybe no one drove them for a couple of years, let's say, or like 1 year or so. And it's been parked somewhere and it's dusty and all. And if you just go there and take a photo of it, people will think like, this is a horrible car. Like, why would I even think about contacting the guy or even going through it? And you know what's the worst part? Actually, some of the ads don't even have photos.
Yeah,
this is one thing I don't get.
They don't have photos, or they'll have like one photo of like the back seat. So it's like, I'm not buying a car for back seat. I'm buying the car what it looks like from the outside, what features it has inside. You know.
But the amazing thing, you guys are providing this service. So if you're not bothered, and I've met people that are actually not bothered to do all of that. Let's say they want to sell the car. He doesn't care about washing it or taking a photo of it or even posting the whole ad. So you guys can do that for people like that. But some of them are busy. It's not because they don't care. They're too busy with their businesses and whatever they're doing throughout their day. So they want someone to do that for them. And also you guys have the other option where you can actually buy the car directly from them, which is amazing. Like, they don't even need to think twice. They come here, they inspect the car, and you guys just buy it from them. If they're getting the right price according to what they want, then
Yeah.
it works.
That's
both
what we
ways.
do here at the Dubizzle Cars Hub. We make it that much easier to buy and sell a car. Dr. M, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you
been a
for
pleasure.
inviting me.
Feel free to come back at any time, and
For
if
sure.
there is a car that piques your interest or you need to get rid of any of the cars that you have, do let us know. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you soon.